Part 115. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Luke Hixie. Chapter 1141. Chapter 1141. The girl I hold dear to my heart. Han Xingyi's eyes were full of force and anger, completely different from the sunny, handsome, and music-loving man he usually saw. Xiang Yan tried hard to recall the person in front of him, and he knew clearly, "You are Han Xingyi." Han Xingyi's name is definitely well known in the circle, because he is a young musician who is famous all over the country, and people have heard of his name even abroad. Many people asked him to compose music, but he couldn't be invited. Xiang Yan has a wide range of connections in the circle through money, but there are some people he can't get to know with money, such as people like Han Xingyi. "I'm glad you know me." This saves him the trouble of introducing his identity, right? Xiang Yan grimaced in pain, and he became even more puzzled. "Han Xingyi, you and I have no enmity in the past, and we have no enmity in the past. What do you want from me?" Han Xingyi suddenly grabbed his collar and strangled his neck tightly, saying in a stern voice, "What bad things have you done that you don't know about?" Xiang Yan felt severe pain all over his body, and his neck was so strangled that he couldn't breathe. "I, Xiang, have been attending the banquet with dignity. Why on earth do you, a well-known person in the music industry, come to me? Is it from the Xiang family? Do you have a grudge against the Xiang family?" Han Xingyi knocked Xiang Yan's leg with an iron rod, and suddenly said something inconsistent. "It's really impolite to let a woman open the door by herself." Xiang Yan was shocked. This is what he used to mock Xiaoziun's boyfriend that night. So, Xiaoziun's boyfriend turned out to be Han Xingyi. It will be understood after the banquet. Finally I found out that Han Xingyi came to avenge his girlfriend. Xiang Yan likes to play with women, but only at this moment did he finally realize the danger. Xiang Yan sat on the ground in embarrassment and gasped, "Are you doing it for Xiaoziun?" Han Xingyi hit him on the shoulder with a stick, causing Xiang Yan to suffer terribly. Xiang Yan was rolling on the ground in pain, and kept arguing, "It was that woman Xiaoziun who seduced me and said she wanted me to help her win the position of the heroine. It was her. She made the mistake by seducing me." Xiang Yan, who just wanted to shirk responsibility, lied without thinking, but his behavior undoubtedly added fuel to the fire. "You scumbag! Why did you harm her? Why did you harm her?" Han Xingyi's eyes seemed to be red with blood. The sound of the stick falling on Xiang Yan crazily made his head bleed and his body was torn. Xiang Yan fell down and fainted from the pain. At this time, someone rushed out from the darkness to stop Han Xingyi. "Young Master Han, if you fight again, someone will be killed." Human life. Han Xingyi held the iron rod tightly, and the veins on the back of his hand were particularly obvious. "I really want to kill him with one stick." However, his remaining reason did not allow him to do that. Those who kill to pay for their lives will be punished by law even if they do not pay for their lives. He will not sacrifice himself for a scumbag. Not worth it. When Xiang Yan closed his eyes, he still heard the curse-like words from Han Xingyi's mouth, "The girl I hold dear to my heart, yet you ruined her life like that. Xiang Yan, the pain you inflicted on her, I want you to repay it thousands of times. Give him a bandage to stop the bleeding, I want him to live." Xiang Yan was tortured very badly. The process of hemostatic bandaging made him wake up from a faint and faint again in pain, and so on. When Xiang Yan woke up, Han Xingyi ordered his subordinates in front of him, "Find a special woman and treat her in the same way. Don't be impatient, take your time, this is just the beginning." End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Luke Hixie. Chapter 1142. Chapter 1142. The scandal of the photo. The woman Han Xingyi found for Xiang Yan was extremely ugly and as strong as an ox. Xiang Yan was still dizzy when he first woke up. When he opened his eyes, he saw ugly big face. He was so frightened that he thought he had seen the devil. Han Xingyi sat far away and said to the woman, I leave this person to you, do you know how to do it? Xiang Yan forces others, and today let him have a taste of what it feels like to be forced by someone he resists. When a woman takes money to do things, she naturally understands what her boss means. Half an hour passed, Xiang Yan had lost almost half of his life, and now he was lying on the bed like a cripple. But he was sure that Han Xingyi didn't dare to hurt his life but deliberately humiliated him, so he didn't want Han Xingyi to show off his power. You just want to humiliate me, oh, so what, it's so satisfying when your woman lies under me. Bye. He made a clenching sound with his fist, and Han Xingyi's eyes became fierce, I really can't cry until I see the coffin. Not long after the woman left, someone came up with a bowl of medicine. Han Xingyi sneered and gave the order, give it to him. Xiang Yan drank the bowl of medicine cooperatively, because he thought Han Xingyi didn't dare to let anything happen to him, so he wanted to give him medicine. Seeing the bowl of medicine reach the bottom with his own eyes, Han Xingyi stretched out his hand and pulled Xiang Yan off the bed. The unexpected movement caused Xiang Yan's whole body to hit the ground, pulling at the wound where he had been hit hard by the iron rod. Xiang Yan felt that all the bones in his body were about to fall apart. Do you know you're wrong? Han Xingyi asked him this question, but Xiang Yan held his breath and didn't say anything. Boom! Xiang Yan's head was pressed against the ground, and Han Xingyi just repeated the question, do you know you're wrong? Xiang Yan couldn't bear the violence, so he huddled on the ground with his head in his hands and begged for forgiveness. I was wrong, I was wrong, I was drunk, I was confused, please let me go. Let her go, why didn't you let her go when she begged you to let her go? Han Xingyi did not want to kill him, but he was tortured almost to the point of becoming inhuman. In the end, he didn't even have the strength to hold his thighs and beg for mercy, so he fell to the ground and fainted. Han Xingyi asked his men to carry Xiang Yan out and sent him back to Xiang Yan's private villa. Brother Han, let him go now, what if he gets exposed after he gets out? Han Xingyi was determined, no, he can't afford to lose this person. Not only would Xiang Yan not expose Han Xingyi, but he would also spend time and energy to cover it up. Because he is also a public figure himself, he should know how important external reputation is in the entertainment industry. Xia Ziyun is suffering beyond words, and the same is true for Xiang Yan. Xiang Yan is a public figure, and someone must be responsible for his sudden disappearance. When the time comes, people will be more alert, which will not be conducive to his taking action. Let Xiang Yan go back now. Xiang Yan will naturally keep his mouth shut for the sake of his own reputation. Han Xingyi certainly imagined that Xiang Yan would definitely fight back after recovering, but Han Xingyi wanted revenge more than that. And his revenge on Xiang Yan was not just that. The next thing will go according to plan. This is just the beginning. Xia Ziyun insisted on quitting the entertainment industry. This incident caused a bit of a stir, because she had just won the award, which should have been a moment of great success. Now she has announced her withdrawal from the entertainment industry. There are many versions of the reason. I don't know who posted a photo on the internet. It was a side view of Xiang Yan helping Xia Ziyun into the room that night. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1143. Chapter 1143 I Want to Marry You. Xiang Yan and Xia Ziyun's names are linked together, and some people even reported that they were already close in words and deeds during the filming of The Prosperity of Chang'an. Although Xia Ziyun stayed at home, she paid attention to the news on the internet every day. When she saw that her name was closely linked to Xiang Yan's, she was disgusted and angry. After learning the news, Han Xingyi quickly found the place where the photo originated and asked someone to delete it and apologize. However, once something on the internet is spread, everyone will have a share. The entertainment industry is not big or small, but there are many things going on. Someone can look for evidence that Xiang Yan and Xia Ziun are together, and a lot of half-true and half-false news has been revealed one after another. Everyone speculated that Xia Ziun's termination of the contract with the company was related to Xiang Yan, and the photo of them entering the room together connected their relationship, and it was impossible to make it clear. Xia Ziun has been restless all day. She was about to be driven crazy by those public opinions. Every time she mentioned Xiang Yan, her mind was filled with terrible images. Snap dash. Xia Ziun locked herself in a room and broke things on the floor to vent her anger. Finally, he squatted alone in the corner, holding his head in his hands, crying. Don't blame her for being too weak. When a person's body and mind are severely damaged, not everyone can be heartless and act as if nothing has happened. She could not let go of the nightmare that night and could not face Xiang Yan calmly. Even hearing his name would affect her mood. Her tears seemed to have dried up in the past few days, and her red and swollen eyes had never gotten better. Han Xingyi cancelled all recent schedules to stay with her. Only he could alleviate Xia Ziun's pain. On this day, Han Xingyi took out 2 household registration books and said, Yun, I see that today is a very good day. I invite you to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau. He said the last half of the sentence with a smile on purpose. These days, Han Xingyi almost never mentions that incident or those people in front of Xia Ziun. Even if he comforts her, it is just to express his attitude. He wants to prove his determination with actions. But Xia Ziun couldn't avoid it after hearing it. No, it's impossible, it's impossible. She is no longer worthy of Han Xingyi. How can she still dare to think that way? So, this is something you promised me personally. If you regret it, I will be sad. Hoshino. Stop being so persistent. You deserve better. After she leaves, there will be a better girl who will love him and protect him, a clean girl who only belongs to him. Xia Ziun is a demon that is hard to get rid of, and Han Xingyi will not take her words to heart. Even though Xia Ziun kept refusing, he never said a harsh word to Xia Ziun. He always coaxed her gently and patiently. Everything he did was neither sympathy nor pity, it was just because he loved so much. Yun, in my eyes, you are a good team. In this life, I, Han Xingyi, have only identified one person. Her name is Xia Ziun, and there can be no others. It doesn't matter if you don't want to go today, I will wait for you patiently, and we will go when you are happy. Han Xingyi took her into his arms. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1144. Chapter 1144 Intimate Contact. The two have had close contact many times and are very familiar with the sensitive points of each other's bodies. Han Xingyi knew how to make her emotional, but when he wanted to go further, Xia Ziun suddenly pushed him away. No, you can't. Han Xingyi took a step forward and approached her again. The two were so close that they could clearly feel each other's aura. Han Xingyi knew her resistance and held her hand tightly. Xia Ziun, however, insisted on avoiding it, pulled up her clothes, and ran out of the door in panic. Han Xingyi had a cold face and punched the wall hard. The news about Xia Ziun's withdrawal from the circle reached the ears of the Xia family and the Han family's parents. The Xia family's parents didn't ask clearly on the phone, but ended up coming here to find someone in person. When Xia's parents came, Han Xingyi was still very worried. He didn't know how to face his parents in Xia Ziun's current state. Han Xingyi came out first to receive the Xia family's parents. The Xia family and his wife loved Han Xingyi very much and really regarded him as their son-in-law. Xiao Han, didn't you say Yun was at home? Why haven't you seen her come out yet? Are you avoiding us on purpose? Uncle and aunt were joking, they knew you were coming to visit her, and it was too late to be happy, why would they avoid you? Han Xingyi personally served tea and water to the two old people and controlled his emotions very well. Uncle and aunt, you guys have a rest here now. I'll go see Yunyun. As soon as he finished speaking, there were footsteps next to him. Immediately afterwards, Xiaoziun's familiar voice came over, Dad, Mom. That's it, you've finally come out. The Xia family's parents didn't care so much when they saw their daughter. Xia's mother stood up and went to Xiaoziun, holding her hands and looking left and right. Han Xingyi stared at the mother and daughter calmly. Xiaoziun was also very nervous, fearing that she had not disguised herself well. But Xia's mother pulled her and looked at her several times, and finally said what parents often say, Yun, why have you lost weight again? Hearing this, Xiaoziun breathed a sigh of relief. She used a method to quickly reduce the swelling, and also smeared a thick layer of makeup on her face to cover it up. No matter how miserable she is, she cannot let her parents know about the tragic thing that happened to her. Otherwise, her parents will be very sad. When Xia's parents came, they first paid attention to their daughter's daily life, but then they mentioned her announcement of quitting the entertainment industry. Xiaoziun actually hasn't thought of an impeccable reason yet. All she can do at the moment is delay time. Mom and Dad, actually I feel that it's too tiring to dress up and act in front of others every day. I'm tired of that life, I want to go back to the past and be an ordinary person. But what she said was unconvincing. Yun, tell your parents honestly, has something happened? Known as Moruomua, Xiaoziun has always liked to stand on the stage and express her strength since she was a child, in order to win the admiration of others. Xiaoziun entered the entertainment industry because she likes it, and the current situation is exactly what she is working hard to achieve. Only a fool would choose to quit at the best time. Xiaoziun was worried. At this moment, Han Xingyi suddenly apologized, Uncle and Aunt, I'm sorry. He said, actually, this matter is all because of me. As expected, Xia's parents' attention was diverted and they all stared at Han Xingyi. You. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1145. Chapter 1145. The person in front of you is your sweetheart. Yunyun actually chose to quit the industry because of me. The two of us can't make our relationship public because of our careers. She is filming and I am performing, so we often can't see each other. But I have proposed to Yunyun and we have decided to get married. It is because of my concern. Feelings will make you withdraw from the circle. Han Xingyi took all the responsibilities in one sentence. He bowed to the two elders and sincerely apologized, I'm really sorry for making you worry. The Xia family's parents found it incredible. You don't support Yunyun to continue acting. When Han Xingyi came to their home, he said that he wholeheartedly supported Xiaoziun's career. How come he changed after a while? It's not that the Xia family's parents have very strict requirements on Han Xingyi, but things that he previously stated changed in just a few months. This will certainly make parents worry that he is not serious enough about their daughter. Han Xingyi just took over the responsibility and would not shoot himself in the foot. Uncle and aunt, don't worry, I am sincere to Yunyun. The entertainment industry is too complicated and it is too hard for Yunyun. I will give her the best, so please don't worry. Han Xingyi took Xiaoziun's hand and showed the ring between her fingers to the Xia family's parents, uncle and aunt, I have proposed to Yunyun, and Yunyun has agreed. Since you are here today, then I will make a statement in front of you. I like Yunyun very much. Yunyun is my wife in my heart. No matter what choice she makes, I will respect her. No matter what her identity is, I will give her my last possession. Han Xingyi stared at Xiaoziun and said the last half of the sentence. He was telling Xia's parents, but he was also expressing his feelings to Xiaoziun subtly. Han Xingyi himself is excellent and the things he does are satisfactory. The Xia family's parents are actually impeccable with his son-in-law. Since he is a man who is willing to get married, he must be willing to take responsibility. In this way, the Xia family's parents would not bother Xia Ziun to withdraw from the entertainment industry. Xia's mother took her daughter aside and gave her many instructions, asking her to cherish people who are kind to her. Xia Ziun remained silent, only nodding his head occasionally. She cannot make a promise as calmly as Han Xingyi. Since you are willing to withdraw from the circle, your parents will not object anyway. We all hope you will have a happy life. Thank you, parents, for your understanding. Then what do you plan to do in the future? You have entered the entertainment industry since graduation. What do you plan to do in the future? Mom, I will make arrangements for this matter. Okay, you are such a grown-up, you know what to do. But let me remind you, although Xiao Han is a very good kid, you can't just rely on other people's likes to do whatever you want, you know. Originally, you are public figures and your relationship cannot be made public. Now you can withdraw from the industry. You can live a normal life with much more freedom than that of a celebrity. After Xia's mother decided that her daughter would quit the career of being an actress, of course she had to support her. Xia Ziun occasionally smiled, but it was a forced smile. The life of ordinary people. It is also a luxury for her. If she would meet Xiang Yan, she would rather be an 18th-tier starlet for the rest of her life. What's more, she would rather never set foot in the entertainment industry. Xia Ziun was exhausted and sent away Xia's parents. But in a blink of an eye, another uninvited guest came to the house, and it was Han Xingyi's parents. My own parents are wholeheartedly tolerant, but other people's parents are theirs after all. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1146. Chapter 1146. Xia Ziun quits the entertainment industry. Because of Xia Ziun's relationship with Han Xingyi, the Han family's parents also paid great attention to Xia Ziun. Photos of Xia Ziun and Xiang Yan together and rumors of a scandal broke out on the internet. Naturally, the Han family's parents were unhappy after hearing this. If it were just a scandal, that would be it, but Xia Ziun stepped out of the circle. The accumulation of these two things would magnify the hidden danger several times in an instant. The parents of the Han family called Han Xingyi before, but the reasons given by Han Xingyi were not trustworthy, so they decided to come and see for themselves. Mainly because Han's mother was anxious, Han's father was forcefully pulled over by Han's mother. The Han family's parents were still polite when they came. Han's mother treated Xia Ziun with the same enthusiasm as before, but Xia Ziun was unsure. When she faced her parents, she only wanted to prevent them from worrying, but when facing Han Xingyi's parents, the pressure is even worse. Han Xingyi used the same reasons to deal with the Han parents. Obviously, Xia's mother was mainly caring, while Han's mother was mainly focused on detecting facts. Han's mother was not easy to fool, so she quickly discovered the clues. The relationship between Xia Ziun and Han Xingyi is not as sweet and natural as before, and anyone with a discerning eye can see that. Han's mother deliberately sent Han Xingyi away, and what happened next was naturally to find out the truth. So, a lot of things have happened recently, and I feel really uneasy. Can you tell my aunt what exactly happened? Is someone bullying you? If you have anything, just tell your aunt. My daughter-in-law of the Han family cannot be bullied by others. Han's mother said this from the bottom of her heart. She thought something had happened to Xia Ziun's career, so she was in a bad mood. The Han family has a rich family background. Now that they have identified Xia Ziun, they will treat her as a member of the family. Knowing that something is wrong with her, they want to stand up for her as a good example. It's just that Han's mother kept saying bullying, and all her well-intentioned concerns turned into sharp knives and stabbed Xiaoziun's body, leaving her heart full of holes. Auntie, this is my problem and has nothing to do with anyone else. Ono told us that you were planning to get married, so he made the request for you to quit the entertainment industry. No, it's not, it's my problem. Xiaoziun knew that as long as she insisted that she quit the entertainment industry because of her marriage, the Han family's parents would have nothing to do with her, but she couldn't tell her. Really, can't say it? If Han Xingyi hadn't been watching over her these days, maybe she wouldn't have the face to stay here. So, we are going to be a family soon, so don't stay out of touch with me. I also know a bit about things on the internet. Those paparazzi can fabricate anything for money. They even show photos of who you are renting a room with. These rumors are really hurtful. Han's mother seemed to be trying to defend her, but she still deliberately brought up Xiangyan's matter. Xiaoziun has always been thinking of luck, but now, she still has to face it. Auntie, things are not as rumored on the internet, please believe me. Of course I believe you, but we have to figure these things out, otherwise there will always be people with evil intentions spreading rumors and causing trouble. What do you think? Xiaoziun shook his head. This matter is very complicated and cannot be explained clearly in a few words, but I will handle it well. Thank you, Auntie, for your concern. I will handle it well. She said this not only for Han's mother, but also for herself. Han Ma nodded. Okay then. It's just that she didn't investigate Xiaoziun in front of her face, but she had already found Xiangyan behind her back. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1147. Chapter 1147. Her parents found out about her. I said, don't be suspicious all day long. Yun Yun is a good girl. You have to believe that your son has the ability to make his own judgment. I know she is a good girl, but now they are hiding something and won't tell us. I have to find out the reason. Han's mother insisted on going her own way, and Han's father couldn't stop her. Originally, Father Han was a strict father and Mother Han was a loving mother, but when it came time to be reasonable, Father Han knew what was appropriate, while Mother Han wanted to solve everything for her son. Xiangyan is now lying in a private villa. He has specially invited a doctor and is not allowed to let anyone know about it. Xiangyan was of course full of resentment, but he couldn't do anything until he recovered from his injury. He finally realized the indescribable bitterness of eating Coptis chinensis for a mute. This Han Xingyi, I will never let him go. Xiangyan was almost crippled last time. His muscles and bones were injured for 100 days. He only had 2 or 3 days. Apart from saying harsh words to show off his power, it hurt even when he moved. Master, don't be angry. Let's wait until you recover. The person who spoke was Xiangyan's little attendant, who had been helping him do bad things in his ear. Wasn't he the one who poured wine on Xiaoziun that day? Xiangyan exhaled. I asked you to check Han Xingyi's recent movements. What did you find out? We sent people to observe. Xiaoziun's parents and Han Xingyi's parents went to find them respectively. I heard, it was for marriage. It's about the wedding, hey. We are going to get married, right? I will give a big gift to the Han family for my young master. Just say that this is my young master's wish. Yes. Xiangyan has never been a kind person, and he will never give up until Xiaoziun obeys. Now that Han Xingyi has taught him a lesson, Xiangyan feels even more resentful. He was so evil that he asked someone to send photos of himself and Xiaoziun together to the Han family. Han's mother was already investigating Xiangyan. When she received this gift from Xiangyan, she was so angry that she almost fainted. I just said something happened, and it turned out to be like this. Han's mother pointed at those photos. She was so angry that she didn't know how to describe it. Everything she saw was so unbearable and unbearable that this happened to her future daughter-in-law. No wonder the two of them are so weird. It turned out that such a shameless thing happened. Fortunately, I was kind enough to say that I would protect her yesterday. This is how she let down our Xiao. Well, there may be a misunderstanding about this. Misunderstanding, since you said so, let's ask with evidence and see what answers they two give. Han's mother grabbed the photo angrily and then thought, Xiao will definitely defend her, I have to ask alone. Mother Han muttered a few words, then turned to look at Father Han. Father Han knew that he had to be responsible for distracting Han Xingyi again so that Mother Han could do things. But this matter involves his own son, so Father Han is obliged to do so. Han's mother went to find Xia Ziun with the photo. On the surface, she was still the same as before. Han's father made excuses to lure Han Xingyi away, and Han's mother couldn't help but ask, Yun, tell me honestly, what happened recently? I think you and Xiao are acting strangely. No, it's nothing. Have you really decided to marry our Xiao? Being pressed to this point, Xia Ziun tightened his hands uncomfortably. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1148. Chapter 1148 Mother Han forces Xia Ziun to leave. Don't you want to marry Han Xingyi? Or do you also know that you have done something scandalous and are not worthy of marrying into our Han family? Mother Han's patience was worn away by repeated temptations, and she couldn't bear it and gave up her harsh words. Xia Ziun suddenly stood up, her heart beating violently. And, you want to ask me why I said that? Did you forget the things you did so quickly? Han's mother was so angry that she threw the photo directly in front of Xia Ziun. Xia Ziun clenched her fists and kept retreating, tears bursting out of her eyes instantly. The tearful eyes and watery eyes are lovable, but unfortunately it doesn't work in front of a mother who loves her son so much. If there is no refutation, then it is acquiescence. Sorry. You really admitted it? I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Xia Ziun raised her head and shook her head. She was escaping, she didn't want to face it. Those photos were obtained from Xiangyan and placed in front of her by Mother Han herself. The two had different identities and brought different feelings to her. She was angry and hating towards Xiangyan, but towards the Han family, she felt guilty, self-blame, and even despised herself. Xia Ziun's behavior, in Han's eyes, was tantamount to admitting that she was shameless and had done some dirty things. Mother Han was so angry that her heart ached. You go. Our Han family will never admit a dirty woman like you as our daughter-in-law. Sorry. I don't want to hear these words from you. If you really feel sorry for me, leave my son as soon as possible and go far away. Don't harm my son. And, you don't need to tell me more. Since this has happened, it's useless to talk anymore. Leave my son as soon as possible. He is a musician, and he will have greater achievements in the future. If you really like him, don't stay with him and become a stain. Do you know how I got these photos? They were from Xiangyan, and Xiangyan asked someone to send them to me in person. Fortunately, you and Xiao had never made a public relationship before, and no one would know if you were separated, so that no one would use these photos in the future. If something happens to my son, you can afford to be embarrassed by this person, but our Han family cannot afford to be embarrassed. Han Ma's words fell on Xia Ziun's heart, and her heart felt like a knife. Her ears were full of ridicule and disgust. She closed her eyes in pain and shed 2 tears. I'm leaving. Even if her heart is in a knot, she can still give Mother Han the answer. Auntie, tell him for me that I'm sorry for him. I left voluntarily, and told him not to look for me. Xia Ziun turned around and left without taking anything from her home with her. Seeing Xia Ziun cry so sadly and leave so simply, Mother Han couldn't bear it. To be honest, She really liked Xiaoziun before, but as a mother, she couldn't tolerate an unclean woman who betrayed her son entering the house as her daughter-in-law. Father Han lied his son out. As an upright man, he still felt a little guilty. Han's father looked weird, and the sensitive Han Xingyi quickly realized that something was wrong. He hurried back and saw Han's mother sitting alone on the chair in the living room, with an unhappy expression. Han Xing had a bad premonition in his heart. He quickly ran into the room and searched the house but could not find Xiaoziun. "Mom, what about this?" "She left." As soon as Han Xingyi heard this, he raised his feet and ran out. Stop. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1149. Chapter 1149. You are never allowed to be together. She said she was sorry for you and left voluntarily now so that you wouldn't go looking for her. Mom, how could you let Yunyun go? Han Xingyi relaxed for a while after seeing that Xiaoziun's mood had stabilized a lot now that such a commotion was happening. He was extremely worried. But Han Xingyi was grabbed by Mother Han before she even stepped out of the door. Son, don't you know what Xiaoziun did? She's sorry for you, and she's betrayed our Han family's trust in her. Han's mother means that when they first agreed to let their two children be together, they chose to believe that Xiaoziun, who was in the entertainment industry, would be clean and tidy, but in the end they found out that they had trusted the wrong person. Han Xingyi defended Xiaoziun. Mom, don't listen to the rumors outside. Some people are deliberately spreading rumors to cause trouble. When Mother Han heard her son's refutation, she felt even more angry. What kind of rumors? The evidence has been delivered to the doorstep, and you still tell me it's a rumor. Han Xingyi looked sideways. What do you mean? Mama Han went to show him the photos in person. Look, see for yourself, are these ugly things done by Xiaoziun? Why are you still thinking about an unclean woman? This matter is not what you think. What's not true? She admitted it herself. She said she was sorry for letting you down. Can what she admitted to herself be false? Han's mother retorted without giving Han Xingyi a chance to refute. I know you like her, and you will definitely think of ways to defend her with bonuses, but these are useless. As long as this has happened, I will never allow you to be together. Yunyun is the person I like, and who I want to be with is my own choice. Mom, Yunyun is also a victim in this matter. She was plotted against me, and it's all because I didn't protect her. This has made me blame myself. I have vowed to love her for the rest of my life and never let her get hurt in the slightest, but I didn't expect that it would be my closest family members who are hurting her now. I'm going to get Yunyun back now. I'm just saying these things to let you know that Yunyun is a good girl. I've decided that Yunyun is my wife. You can't interfere with us. Han Xingyi first expressed his attitude in front of his parents, and then rushed out of the house. Han Ma chased her out, but no one was seen. Han's mother stood at the door and was heartbroken. Look at your son, he was really deceived by that little goblin. Dad Han shook his head helplessly. Shut up. Han's mother asked, you also want to help her, right? Dad Han said from a sensible perspective, neither you nor I have figured out the truth of this matter. You drove people away as soon as you came. I don't think you are the kind of girl who doesn't love herself. What do you mean by this? Do you mean that I deliberately slandered her? Didn't you see the photo? And I heard her admit it with my own ears. It was her who said she was sorry for Xiao. There was no lie in it. Didn't Ono say that Yunyun was the victim? Yunyun quit the entertainment industry after winning the award. This shows that she is not a girl who loves fame and fortune. What if there is really a hidden secret in this matter? I don't care what the secret is, the facts are facts. There is no way I can accept her into our Han family. Han's mother was firm, and Han's father tried to argue with her to no avail, so he could only sigh. You know Xiao's character, you'd better hope he gets back to this, otherwise, the Han family will not be peaceful again. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1150. Chapter 1150. It will be painful for me to stay by your side. Han Xingyi chased after him and kept calling Xiaoziun, but his phone was also turned off. Yunyun, don't you understand my sincerity? Xiaoziun ran out. She was too embarrassed to go to her family or her friends, and she didn't even dare to show up on the street at will. The world is so big, and some people are homeless but do whatever they want, but she has a home and cannot go back, and she even dares not sleep on the street. I was hungry and wanted to buy something, but found that I had nothing with me except my mobile phone. The big stars who used to be high in the past are now more embarrassed than the wanderer. Hold the phone and looked at it countless times, but she still didn't open it. If the phone is turned on, it is estimated that Han Xingyi will be able to find her soon. Xiaoziun was walking aimlessly on the street when a little girl carrying a flower basket came towards her and said, "Sister, buy a flower." Xiaoziun nodded slightly and spread her hair on both sides to cover her face. She flipped it up to get the flowers. But when he looked down and saw that he didn't even have a bag with him, he could only shake his head. "Sorry, I didn't bring any money." The little girl took out a blue and a green QR code very wisely. "Sister, Alipay and WeChat are both acceptable." The little girl acted like this when she saw the mobile phone in her hand. After all, none of the young people today know about online payment. Xiaoziun sighed helplessly. "It's really not necessary, thank you. I'll buy." Before she could finish her polite thank you, a familiar voice suddenly reached her ears. Xiaoziun was inspired, turned around and glanced, then turned around and ran away. A bright rose stood in front of her. In just a few seconds, Xiaoziun's heart was already in chaos. Han Xingyi took her hand and stuffed the wrapped roses into her palm, holding the other hand tightly and refusing to let go. "Yunyun, have you had enough fun? If you have enough fun, come home with me." "How did you come?" "Of course I'm here to take you home." He didn't say that he was out to arrest someone, as if Xiaoziun's departure had never happened. Xiaoziun looked down at the hands held by the two of them and sighed deeply. "Let go." Han Xingyi shook his head. "Don't let go. If he lets go, the girl he loves will run away again." Xiaoziun raised her eyes, stared closely into Han Xingyi's eyes, and told him in a serious tone, "I'm not happy." She repeated deliberately and told him directly, "If you ask me to go back, I won't be happy at all." Two people who obviously love each other want to hurt each other. The pain is worse than stabbing the heart with a knife. But what can she do? Some things are really, once they happen, they will cause irreparable harm, and when she has a lover, she really can't pretend that nothing has happened. "Han Xingyi, you deserve better, really. I also said that I don't need anything better in my eyes, you are the best. But I mind." Sometimes the word hypocritical cannot be used to summarize a person's psychology. If she didn't fall in love with someone, she might treat it as being bitten by a dog and try her best to get revenge, and then forget about it. But when she fell in love, she wanted to show her sincerity and give him the purest love. "When I see you now, I will remember how miserable I am, and it will be very painful for me to stay by your side, do you understand? So, Han Xingyi, please let me go." End of this chapter.